All right, happy Saturday afternoon, everyone. We do have some severe storms that have started to pop up. One of our severe thunderstorm warnings does have the tornado possible tag, and it's showing some signs of rotation. Just kind of want to come on here live just to kind of give some breakdown and some extra details, as we do have some storms that are beginning to fire up across our area. If you're joining on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, come say hi in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. But right now we've got two severe thunderstorm warnings in place for our viewing area. One for Dooley, Houston, and Pulaski counties until 2 p.m. The other one for Crisp and Sumter counties. This one also in effect until 2 p.m. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Kay. So if you're joining us on Facebook anywhere, come say hi in the chat. We do have some warned storms that are currently out across the area. Are you doing the radar for me? Okay, thanks. Let me refresh the page so I can get the Facebook Live up. So we've got this one severe storm that's moving through Crisp and Sumter counties until 2 o'clock. Got a lot of lightning strikes out there. I am trying to get the Facebook Live up. Okay, here we go. Oh, wait, this was not the right one. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're up and online now. So we've got the two severe thunderstorm warnings that are out, and we do have one sign of rotation in one of our storms. There hasn't been any warnings that are issued, as this has it's kind of a broader area of rotation that we're seeing. And on our storm relative velocity, we've got portions of the red and the green. This is the wind structure really in the atmosphere. When the green is the wind's going towards the radar state and the red is moving away. So when you have them right next to each other, that's that gate-to-gate shear showing that pinwheel windmill effect in the atmosphere, that seeing some signs of rotation. This is not a warning at this time, but we're seeing those reds right next to those greens, and that's an indication that there could be some signs of rotation in the atmosphere, but not a warned storm at this point. No tornado at this time, but there just is some indications on the radar that I'm watching. We are potentially seeing that. This was about half an hour ago. It was west of Unadilla. Really looks what? 117. This was at 117, yeah. So a little bit, around a half hour ago, maybe a little bit less. And this was west of Unadilla, I-75, and it's continuing the track eastward here. See, the areas has begun to really broaden out. So that is some good signs showing that the area is a little bit broader and there's not that tight couplet for the rotation and the tornado to be popping up. But this is a storm that we are keeping a close eye on if anything does become active. Do I have the chat still on over here? Okay, yes. So we have the two severe thunderstorm warnings in place. This is about to head into Hawkinsville as well. You're getting a lot of the lightning strikes. These storms are moving pretty quickly. Radar indicated 60-mile-per-hour winds. The tornado possible tag is on both of these severe thunderstorm warnings, so we could get a spin-up tornado. There we are seeing. There was actually just a storm report that came in for power lines down at Bourne Street and PV Street. So we are seeing some strong winds from the storm that's continuing to move eastward here for a little while. So putting a track out on this over the next little while. Hawkinsville is at 148. You're going to be hit with the strong storm Wallace, 148. Mobley Crossing at 157. Dodge High, 213. Seeing that storm continue to move eastward. So I think we did just get a new severe thunderstorm warning, Eric, for Crisp, Dooley, and Wilcox County. So I'll go ahead and push that. I have my earpiece plugged into my phone. I get to hear the dings in my ears. So here's the new one that's in portions of Crisp and Dooley and Wilcox County. This is in place until 2:15. It's kind of the continuation of the storm that's moving into Crisp County right now, Cordele, getting that heavy downpours, frequent lightning, strong winds as well. This is heading really your direction and moving eastward as I push this really fast. I got it. Oh, you got it? Okay. There was a watch also just issued. Okay. Oh yeah, severe thunderstorm watch. I love how it always takes a minute to load. I can't actually see it. Oh, okay, okay. Sorry. Yeah, but if you're joining us on Facebook, definitely come say hi in the comments. Tell me where you're watching from. Love to answer any of your questions. Talk about how your day's going. Areas through Warner Robins and Macon actually not getting the rain right now. Most of the storms have pushed past at this point, and they're moving down to the southeast. So Dublin getting hit with a little bit of that rain, but really Cochrane, I-75 southwards through Dooley, Crisp County, Cordele, Vienna getting hit with a lot of the lightning strikes, the heavy downpours at this time. And these are a few of our severe storms. We haven't seen much severe activity north and west, and we're mostly in the clear at this point for areas north and west of Macon, but the storms continue to move down south and east. I just got the push on my phone, and I was so confused for a second. I was like, what is the sound in my ear? Okay. Yeah. So they continue the one for Crisp County. They kind of took off the western edge of the severe thunderstorm warning through Sumter County. So the storms continue to move. These do have tornado possible tags on them, which means we could be seeing a spin up tornado kind of pop up here with any of these storms. The one through Crisp, Dooley, and Wilcox County does not have the tornado possible. So the one really kind of area that we're keeping an eye on for rotation is through Crisp County at this time. Not seeing a whole lot on the velocity. There's a little bit of some coupling here, just north and east of Warwick. We have that green right next to the red. So the greens, again, the wind's moving towards the radar site, the red moving away. And when you get them right next to each other, that's the gate-to-gate shear. That's the possibility of some signs of rotation in the atmosphere, not showing a strong signature, only 6 miles per hour for the gate-to-gate, but strong winds nonetheless, 52 mile an hour indicated by the radar. So pretty strong. Oh, that's over here. Yeah, so still some strong winds just south of Cordele, getting a lot. These are straight line winds, but just along 75 south of Cordele, some pretty strong wind gusts up to about 50 miles per hour are indicated on the radar. So could be having some damaging wind gusts headed your way right now. Very strong storms that are headed our way right now, okay? And so we are continuing to watch this. This one through Crisp County here does come with the threat of a tornado possible tag. I think that's more inside of this area right here. We're seeing this shear tracker when you have the kind of twisting in the atmosphere that's sometimes known as kind of our wind shear, are changing with winds and direction as the winds change in height and direction. And then this is kind of showed here with the shear for us, and that's kind of our twisting in the atmosphere that could be showing some rotation. There's not any tornado warnings in place right now, but we're seeing a few signs. So some of these storms could turn into a warning really at any point here, as we've got some still signs of rotation. That one has just been updated. Now it's only for Pulaski County, further north. Still getting a lot of that lightning. So right now we've got the severe thunderstorm warnings for Crisp County. We have one for Pulaski County, portions of Wilcox County, as well as the storm continues to move eastward. So Cochrane, Cadwell, Eastman, getting hit with a lot of that lightning strikes, that heavy rain and downpours moving through your area right now. Okay. I think I might have a severe thunderstorm watch graphic in there.
Yeah, I have it.
Oh, okay. So we have a severe thunderstorm watch for some portions of our area. I still can't see it. Remember the difference between a watch. Wait, I'm a little blind. That is really hard to see for me, that pink. So it's kind of areas south and east through Trutland, Lawrence County, down through all the areas. Is that a pink shading?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So areas shaded in pink here have the severe thunderstorm watch in effect now until, what time did this go? Till 8 o'clock tonight. Until 8 p.m. The difference between a watch and a warning, a watch means the conditions are favorable for severe storms to be forming. So the highlighted counties here, there's favorable conditions for severe storms to be forming now through 8 o'clock tonight. We do have a few warnings that are out down for really Dooley, Crisp County, even a little bit in Pulaski County as well. And some of these do come with tornado possible tags on them. They just canceled the one for Pulaski County. So now just seeing a lot of the activity really the farther south in our southern counties through um, Crisp and Wilcox County right now. Those are our warnings, but still seeing a lot of lightning through Pulaski County. You're really getting hit with some of the heavy rain, a lot of lightning strikes out there for you, even through Unadilla, down through Vienna and Cordele, getting a lot of the lightning as well. See the strikes right now, 71 strikes just in this area alone. So there's definitely pretty strong storms that are beginning to fire up. We were talking about earlier how the farther south and east this front was going to be moving, kind of the more favorable environment it would be kind of moving into, and it looks like that's definitely what's happening. We didn't have any warnings for areas making a north and west, but now we're kind of seeing the storms begin to fire up as well as they're getting into more of a favorable environment. Okay. So, Eric, do you want to maybe give this 25 minutes or so, put up some text on the screen, kind of let the storms play out here over the next half hour and come back with an update? Okay. So we will continue to monitor these storms. Hi, Travis. Making not one drop of rain. We had a little bit of rain come down earlier, but it wasn't really heavy and it was a quick hit. Now at this point, you're all in the clear. We're not in Warner Robins, Macon, areas northward, not really seeing much rain at this point. 600ths of an inch. We got a little bit of some rain in Macon. Really not a lot though. But we will continue to watch these storms for you. We're going to let the radar keep kind of playing on loop here. We'll watch them off screen to see if there are any warnings that are going to pop up. But we'll come back and an update, say, do you want to say 2:15? Yep, that works. Okay. We'll come back at 2:15, see how some of these storms play out. If anything starts to spin up, any kind of rotation, we will come back on Facebook and we'll also be live on air covering that so that we can all stay safe. Otherwise, we will be back in about a little under a half an hour, about 2:15, with a further update. All right, everyone, we're just popping back. It's 2:15. That one severe thunderstorm warning had just been canceled for Wilcox and Crisp County. So now at this point, we're just getting a lot of the lightning over Abbeville, but not a warned storm at this point. They decided not to extend that. There have been some signs of rotation in Dodge County over Eastman. Oh, they just uploaded a new one. There we go. That we're kind of seeing some signs of rotation. It's rather broad, nothing really showing that there's a tornado in the atmosphere, but still having some strong storms that are moving through. Now we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Dodge, Lawrence, Telfair, Wheeler, and Wilcox County as well. So this is set in place now until 3:15. So these storms are continuing to track to the south and east. Let me pull up the chat as well. The wind is radar indicated about 60 miles per hour. This one does also come with a tornado possible tag on it, as we are seeing some signs still of some rotation that could briefly spin up a tornado, but it's not out of the question for this time. So tracking this out still over the next half hour or so. Oh, no. That's okay, yeah. So these storms are moving pretty quickly to the east-southeast. And there are some reports of damage coming in. So here's some of the timings that these storms continue to move through. Abbeville, 2:19 in the next 3 minutes. Rebecca, 2:20. Chauncey, 2:32. Milan, 2:38. Fitzgerald, 2:47. Continues to move south and east. Mount Vernon, 3:08. Lumber City, 3:17. Douglas, 3:37. That is kind of out of the warning at that point, but that is still going to be moving your way as the storm continues to track. So we are seeing some signs still of rotation on the atmosphere. There's not any kind of tight coupling, but there is some shear. This is our shear tracker. That sign of green here is showing that the winds are changing with speed and direction in the atmosphere. That kind of creates that pinwheel, that spinning that we're seeing. There's no tornado warnings at this point. We're kind of just watching the storm as it continues to move through. If it starts to kind of couple together a little bit more tightly. Yeah. What we are looking for with our Doppler winds is this is kind of the wind structure of the storm. The green is the winds moving towards the radar site, and the red is moving away. And so when you get them right next to each other, it's kind of that opposite winds moving in opposite directions, and it creates that spin in the atmosphere. So still seeing a little bit of the green right next to the red. It's nothing that's kind of standing out completely, showing signs of a tornado, but we're just keeping an eye on some of those storms. A little bit, another couple of moving through Rochelle. But these severe thunderstorm warnings, you are under the severe thunderstorm warning, Rochelle, when this does come with a tornado possible tag. So these storms, we've got to continue to watch here until the warning ends around 3:15, which is a little less than an hour from now. It is still reporting some strong, even straight line winds up to about 60 miles per hour. That was kind of the primary threat with some of these storms today. For severe storms was for the damaging winds up to 50 to 60 miles per hour. Still could see some isolated hailstorms or some tornadoes as well for the rest of the next hour or so as these storms continue to exit south and east. And so we do have that severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. So yeah, see, we're seeing a little bit of some signs of rotation over Rochelle here, and this is kind of heading this direction. So getting a lot of these straight line winds as well. Maybe could you query kind of the brightest greens just south and east of Rochelle, Eric? Sure. See what the radar is indicating. Oh yeah, so the National Weather Service has just said clusters of storms is moving into a more favorable environment for severe hazards to occur, including an increased chance for a brief tornado. Due to this, a severe thunderstorm warning covering a wider area was opted for, and will be monitoring the increased tornado chances within each individual cell and updraft. So we were kind of expecting this as we were heading into the afternoon today. The further this front was going to move to the south and east, the kind of better environment that it was going to move into. We've got a lot more severe thunderstorm warnings out in place, and we are seeing now that it's moving into a more favorable environment for a brief tornado. So this is definitely something we've got to monitor here over the next hour or so as this continues to move through. If you are joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, drop by in the comments and say hello as well. Love to see where you're watching from. Do you think there's any storm reports that have come in on the radar? There's been about 2, I think, about some wind damage. There's one that was in Crisp County. I think there was a few earlier that was moving through for some downed trees. So we are seeing some signs of damage with these strong winds that are pushing through the area. And the storms, again, are moving south and east pretty quickly. So could you go back to the reflectivity, Eric, and maybe we could just kind of show where the lightning and the heavy downpours are? Oh, okay, yeah. Thank you. Yes, so here's that reflectivity again, seeing some heavy downpours over Eastman right now, moving quickly along 46. There is some signs of hail showing up on the tracker here, so this could be a really strong updraft that's producing some hail just north of Eastman. That does have the potential to also produce some damage. So really getting hit with the heavy downpours, that frequent lightning over Eastman right now. You definitely want to be inside if you know anyone living in this area. There's no tornado warnings with this, but this is still a very strong storm. We definitely don't want to be outside in this weather. Probably has some blinding rain from how strong the downpours are and that frequent lightning strikes as well. Moving quickly eastward. So Jaybirds, Chauncey, you're all in the severe thunderstorm warning. Alamo, seeing about 19 strikes here right now. So getting some of that frequent lightning that's moving across the area. Definitely want to stay inside for the next hour or so as the severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 3:15. With a very powerful storm. Radars indicating winds up to 60 miles per hour. So even outside, kind of, if there's any tornado threats, there's still a lot of straight line winds, which can still down power lines and down trees as well. Area over Rochelle into Abbeville, getting that heavy downpour rain as well. The frequent lightning moving across to 129. McRae, Milan, you're all still going to be in the heavier downpours here over the next 15 minutes or so, as that heavy downpour continues to move quickly. But you're still in the severe thunderstorm warning. And these do come with a tornado possible tag still. So really got to watch out for some signs if there is going to be some areas of rotation and that spin in the atmosphere. So on our Doppler winds with the storm relative velocity, the green is moving towards the radar site. The red is moving away. So when you get them right next to each other, that's that gate-to-gate shear showing that sign that the potential for rotation. There's no tornado warnings in effect right now, but we could be seeing some as they're moving into a more favorable environment. Browning at 2:30, the storm is headed your way. Oh, okay. Okay, so here's some of the storms. 240 for Browning Forest Glen, 246, that heavy downpour and that sign of some coupling in the atmosphere is kind of headed your way. China Hill at 308, Cobbville at 321, Jacksonville 328. You're all in the severe thunderstorm warning at this time as the storm continues to move quickly to the east-southeast. So definitely stay weather aware here over the next few hours, especially for areas in Dodge, Lawrence, Pulaski, Telfair, Wheeler, and Wilcox County. We have the warning in place between 3:15. We do also have a watch that's also in effect for most of our south and eastern counties. The watches, when they're issued, those are when the conditions are favorable for severe storms to be forming. But the warnings like we have, those are when the conditions are imminent, and that's when you want to really take action. So this is the severe thunderstorm watch. This is still into effect until 8 o'clock tonight as those line of storms continues to move south and east from Sumter all the way through Pulaski and Bleckley counties up into Treutlen County as well, and Johnson County, seeing that severe thunderstorm watch in effect where the conditions are favorable for storms to be forming. Areas really north and west of Macon, not any more rain for you. Warner Robins, you're rain free. Macon, Milledgeville, Forsyth, Thomaston, Butler, Montezuma, all the rain is really out. We still got a little bit of some storms that are moving over Washington County and through Sandersville right now, but that is beginning to exit. The lightning strikes are going down, still getting a little bit of some heavy downpours right now. So that's really the line of storms, and these are moving east-southeast. So you're all clear to the left of this line. You are all clear, good to go. The severe risk for you at this point is very low. We're not really going to be seeing much rain for the rest of your evening. Saturday's plan should be a good to go if you're going outside. But again, areas really south and east of this line, you really still do want to be weather aware as we have the severe thunderstorm warning out that has the tornado possible tag on it. So still watching for that to see if there's going to be any signs of tighter rotation in the atmosphere at this point, but not seeing that any tight coupling. Still seeing some broad signs of some shear. This is our shear tracker here. This shows kind of how the winds are shifting with direction and height, and it's kind of showing that on the tracker. Then on our storm relative velocity, again, we're looking for the reds right next to the greens to be showing that spin in the atmosphere. We are seeing some lines kind of here of the reds right next to those greens. It's a wider, kind of broader area. So that's some good signs that if it's a broader area, you're not getting that tight coupling of the rotation, but it easily could kind of spin down if everything kind of comes together perfectly. So kind of still seeing some signs of rotation just east of Rochelle, southeast of Abbeville, Eastman in towards 23, maybe a little bit of signs of rotation as well, but it's very broad at this point. So not seeing anything that's really standing out and jumping out to me that this is tornado that's possible, which is why we don't have any tornado warnings, especially in effect either. But still seeing that back to that storm over Eastman as it continues to move through, seeing less than a half-inch size of hail, probably about pea-sized hail, could be falling, indicated on the radar just north and east of Eastman, getting with that really strong storm that's dumping that torrential rain. It's still showing some signs of hail on the radar at this point. So if you live just east of Eastman along State Route 46, that's one of the heaviest downpours right now, heading into South Lawrence County and into Wheeler counties here as that continues to move further through. Also another strong area here through Abbeville. This will be heading into Telfair counties here over the next 20 minutes or so as well. So put a track here for the next hour or so as the storm continues to move south and east. Chauncey at 230, Milan 237, Fitzgerald at 245, McRae 247. You're all in the path of these storms. Silverton at 258, Mount Vernon at 308, Lumber City at 316, Vidalia at 322, and Uvalde at 324. You are out of the severe thunderstorm warning at this point, Uvalde, but the storm will still continue to head your way. So we'll have to see if that kind of continues all that. Hi, Penny. Why wasn't y'all on TV here when it hit Hawkinsville? We've been on our Facebook here for the past hour or so. There was no tornado warnings that were in place over Hawkinsville. You definitely had that heavy downpours that came over you, but there was no tornado warnings for us to go on the air. Well, it's nice to see you here at least on the Facebook. Hope you're doing well though for today. I think the rain is out of Hawkinsville now at this point. You might have a little bit of leftover showers at this point. So this is the future radar as this continues to move through. We're seeing still some of those heavy downpours. By about 3:30, it's beginning to exit around 4:45, moving out of Telfair, Wheeler counties, Montgomery County, finally moving out. And then really past 5 o'clock here is really when most of the severe threat will be out of the way. So it's only for about another maybe hour and a half, 2 hours that we still have that severe threat for our south and eastern counties, but it quickly moves out of here. Saturday evening plans, really past 5:30, 6 o'clock, all clear to go as well. So we've got another threat for some more of that severe weather here over the next hour and a half. So don't let your guard down yet for our south and eastern counties as this storm continues to quickly move through here. Penny, or 13 said there was a tornado. It scared us. There was some signs of rotation that was in the atmosphere that was moving over Hawkinsville, but it was kind of far away from the radar site, so it was a little bit higher in the atmosphere. There was no warnings that were set in place for you. At this point, you are rain-free, but there was some signs of coupling that was on the atmosphere, nothing that was potentially touching the ground. But yeah, there was no warnings that were in place for you. So really when we're looking for a tornado here in our Doppler winds and our storm relative velocity, the red is the winds moving away and the green is moving towards. And when you have them right next to each other, that's the shear, that's the pinwheel effect in the atmosphere that shows it's that spin. So this was about 1:43. So this was a little bit earlier today. We were getting some of that red next to the green that was showing some signs of rotation, but there was no warned tornado in effect for your area. So there were some signs of rotation, but this is our debris tracker. There was a little bit of a ball there that showed up right here at 1:35. The debris tracker, it kind of measures the different sizes of items in the air. And so when you get this kind of brighter ball, sometimes that could be an indication that a tornado could be lofting things in the air. So this is something that we'll probably have to go back. So right here, this was at 1:35, so this was still earlier. Still seeing that red that was right next to that green. So that was showing some signs of rotation. This was not a warned storm, though. You definitely were hitting a lot of that heavy downpours and lightning here over the past 45 minutes, but it's beginning to exit out. That is really interesting, Eric. Yeah, with that storm that did move through, and they did not issue a warning for that. But now the rain is exiting out of your area for Hawkinsville. So the storm continues to push south and east. Abbeville, just east of Eastman, really getting hit with the heaviest downpours at this point as this moves quickly down to the east and southeast. McRae, you are so Lumber City, all in this severe thunderstorm warning. The primary threat with this severe thunderstorm warning is for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour that can knock down trees and power lines, but it is moving into an area that's more favorable for some rotation to be spawning as well. So yeah, if you want to zoom into that, Eric, for that little rotation, that's kind of showing some signs of some rotation right north of brown. We have the really bright greens and it's still a little bit of the red, and they're kind of look like they're beginning to couple, but it's still a rather large area. Kind of see them starting to spill into each other here. That could be showing some signs of rotation. We'll continue to watch that here as it moves across 129 just south of Rhine. That's also interesting. It still is a more of a broader area, but that's something to definitely keep an eye on here. We got you, Penny. That's what we're here for. And then just south of Eastman, still seeing some of those reds right next to the green. It is still a rather broad area of rotation here as well, just east of Chauncey, but definitely getting hit with that heavy downpours of rain. These are kind of the two cells that we're watching through because these severe thunderstorm warnings do come with the tornado possible tag on them. Nothing is warned at this point for a tornado, but definitely monitoring these storms as we move through. A little bit farther north, really outside of these severe thunderstorm warnings, everyone's dry except for areas in Washington County south of Sandersville. Kind of have this band of rain that's moving just to the eastern edge of Wilkinson County, south of Sandersville over Louisville. They're getting hit with some of that heavy downforce, but no lightning strikes for you. Even areas a little bit further west, Unadilla, Cordele, getting hit with a little bit of that rain as it starts to exit south and east as well. But this is really the big storm, the big area that we're keeping an eye on. South Lawrence County, Dodge, southeastern Wilcox County, Telfair, and Montgomery counties. And Wheeler County, excuse me, not Montgomery, that's this one. Wheeler counties as well, all into that severe thunderstorm warning until 3:15. So that's still about another 45 minutes as the storm continues to move through. It's a rather wide severe thunderstorm warning, but they really wanted to include these two different cells here that are kind of moving through, that are producing the strongest downpours, potentially the most damaging winds. I think that one down over south of Abbeville is really the one to keep an eye on. Still seeing, again, some of these brighter greens. So this is definitely some strong straight line winds just south of Rhine, east of 129. That could definitely down some trees and power lines potentially. That's kind of the biggest thing to look over here. But even outside of that, still getting a lot of lightning strikes. Not seeing too much here on the debris tracker. That could be maybe a little bit of something, but nothing that's really eye-catching out to me at that point.
That's pretty hard to displace from the area of rotation.
Yeah. My legs are hurting from standing. I got to stretch out a little bit. Yeah, so this is another one of the areas that we're keeping an eye on. Just about to move into Chauncey, Jaybird Springs, 165. We're going to keep an eye on these storms really for you.
I think this is really broadening out.
Really losing its energy, you said?
Yeah, broadening out.
Oh, widening out, yeah.
Right there, pretty tight.
Right there, we're seeing a little bit of Midway Cemetery Road. This was about half an hour ago, but this area is beginning to really widen out as it moves kind of further east towards Chauncey, and Jaybird Spring is moving south and east. This area, not anything popping out to me. There is some of the red right next to the green, but it's a rather wide area, but this could break down and kind of potentially spawn a tighter couplet here. So we're going to continue to watch that storm as well as it moves kind of quickly for us, and still seeing a little bit of those bright greens. Could you query that little bright green there, Eric? Just, yeah, right here, just east of Browning, just that green area. Winds showing about 40-mile-per-hour winds, so okay. The gate-to-gate shear, I saw 31. So the gate-to-gate shear, that's the signs of rotation as kind of the greens are next to the reds. That could be showing that pinwheel effect here. So definitely some storms that we're keeping an eye on here as they move south and east. And can we go back to the reflectivity one more time? Eric, show some of those heavy downpours still again, kind of how they're moving through. So the darker the reds on the radar, getting that heavier downpours, and this has been moving pretty quickly to the south and east at this point. The rain is also exiting Dublin, but just east of Eastman, Abbeville still getting hit with some heavy downpours of rain. McRae, you're in the path of the heavier rain here over the next 20 minutes, headed towards Lumber City and Jacksonville here as well. So stay weather aware if you're in this area. Definitely don't want to go outside. You still want to seek shelter as you're inside of the severe thunderstorm warning. The primary threat, again, is really for those damaging winds. Frequent lightning also and heavy downpours of rain can be really associated with these storms that are moving through. Has there been any updates from the National Weather Service? No, yeah, they're still saying a strong, though, thunderstorm through Jefferson and Washington counties, so interesting there. Okay. Do you want to give these storms another 30 minutes here?
Yeah, I think that's okay.
Okay.
I was gonna hold out for one more radar scan, maybe.
Okay.
There it is.
So we're still kind of watching the storm over Chauncey here. It looks like there is still some spillover as well, just north of Chauncey. It's trying to create a little bit of coupling. There's that green right next to the red, so that's showing that spin in the atmosphere potentially here. If that actually is going to be making it down onto the ground is still a question, but it's definitely a storm that we're watching. Even outside of the rotation, still seeing that heavy frequent lightning as well and the heavy downpours. Okay. So we're going to put another track on these for the next hour or so as this moves further east. So if you live in these communities, you still definitely want to take shelters. We got a strong storm heading your way. Milan at 242, Bowens Mill 245, McRae 252, Cobbville 259, Cedar Park 306, Jacksonville 309, Glenwood 311, Mount Vernon 319, 324 in Lumber City. Definitely want to take shelter if you are in one of these areas. We've got a pretty strong storm, severe storm that is headed your way for the potential for damaging winds or a possible tornado of Idalia 335. You're outside the warning at this point, but that storm is still going to be heading your direction if it still holds to its strength as well. And this warning is in effect until 3:15. So we're going to let the storms kind of play out here, see if we see any more signs of rotation on the atmosphere. And we will come back with another update as the storms continue to move out. So this severe thunderstorm warning is into effect until 3:15. So continue to stay weather aware and watch the storms with us, and definitely stay inside and seek shelter through these south and eastern counties as the storms continue to pull through. We will come back at around 3 o'clock for an update as these storms move through. We'll give it the last 15 minutes to kind of get through the rest of the severe thunderstorm warning, but stay tuned. All right, everyone, the time is now 3 o'clock. Wow, on the dot. And we just really wanted to come back on here to kind of give you some updates. Hi, Grace. How are you? McRae and Helena. It's getting hit with rain right now. Yes, we still have the severe thunderstorm warnings out. It's beginning to exit south and east. So this is now just for Telfair and Wheeler counties. Still getting hit with that pretty heavy rain. McRae down further south over towards Wheeler County, getting hit with that heavy downpours of the rain. Frequent lightning strikes. We have been watching kind of the rotation possible with these storms, but no hail really indicated on the radar, but we have been kind of keeping an eye on the close couplets. There hasn't been anything that's really been standing out to us. Still not out of the question that we could be seeing an isolated tornado as this severe thunderstorm warning's in effect for the next 15 minutes or so, but the areas of rotation have stayed rather broad. Nothing that's really been popping our eye out, but still not out of the question at this point. So we still have the severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the next 15 minutes or so. Still want to stay inside for areas in Telfair and Wheeler counties as we've got the heavy downpours of rain, that lightning strikes, and the severe thunderstorm still into effect for us. If you are showing up on Facebook, YouTube, anywhere, come in the comments and say hello, ask any questions, tell me where you're watching from. Love to interact with all of you. But this is really the last of the storms. The actual cold front that's associated with these storms is still moving through our area farther north and west. So as that continues to kind of move through our viewing area, some more storms could fire up. It's not very likely that we see any more rain and storms after this one begins to exit, but it's not impossible. So we'll still be keeping an eye on the storms for the rest of tonight. But really, once this kind of system moves off the coast, we're just off the coast. Hello. We're not near coast. As this moves off out of our viewing area, we'll just have to deal with some of the winds behind it. The pressure gradient is still going to be rather strong. So winds could still be gusting up to about 30 miles per hour for the rest of tonight. Sustained winds right now hovering mostly in the upper single digits in the teens, making 12-mile-an-hour winds right now, 10 Monticello, 21 in Thomaston, 26 down in Hawkinsville. These are the wind gusts out there that have been reported over the last hour. 22-mile-per-hour wind gust in Macon, 29 in Thomaston, 15 in Roberta, 26 in Hawkinsville. So it's going to be still rather blustery for the rest of tonight. The winds will begin to die out the farther this front kind of pushes on through. We'll keep the breeze for tomorrow as well, but not going to have any risk for any storms or severe weather for the second half of our weekend. But the storms are going to still continuing to exit. It's still going to be rather breezy tomorrow for Sunday as well. So areas really Macon and northward are dry right now, but these storms are still continuing to exit, really just over Telfair and Wheeler counties here. Still getting some of that rain moving over, kind of exiting Soperton, Vidalia. Still getting a little bit of some rain moving through Crisp County and Cordele, but that's continuing to exit as well. I get a little bit of some pop-up showers in Wilcox County here over the next 20 minutes. But all this rain is eventually going to push out here over the next hour, hour and a half, and then the severe threat behind that will be pretty much non-existent as the storms continue to move out. But yeah, we're still getting the really heavy downpours, especially through Telfair counties just south of McRae. You're still getting hit with some of that heavy downpours as well, but really along 319 north of Jacksonville, where we're seeing the most lightning strikes. Usually when you see a lot of the lightning, that usually means that the storms are really strong. As the kind of, if there's less lightning or we're seeing the trend of less lightning and storms, that usually means they're weakening. So the more the lightning, generally the stronger the storms. And we're definitely seeing a lot of lightning out with these, as this is a severe thunderstorm warned storm that's in effect until 3:15. This still does come with a tornado possible tag. We're not seeing any really tight coupling of rotation, but are still keeping an eye on these storms as they continue to exit. Oh, there were some other storm reports on there. Did you see that? There have been some areas of some reports that have been coming in through Unadilla. There was a down tree at Borum 2nd and Peavy Street for Dooley County. Thunderstorm wind damage. That was earlier at 1:18. So still seeing some of the reports start to come in as these were some pretty strong storms that were firing up. Strong straight line winds, downing some trees, some power lines. In Crisp County, we had a tree down on Cannon Road near Mile Pond Road at 1:33. And in Smithville also had some power lines down as the time was estimated by the radar at 1:24. So these were pretty strong storms that moved through. They're pretty much almost out of the area entirely for us, but we're still seeing a little bit more. This severe thunderstorm warning still into effect for about 10 more minutes. So this will continue to move quickly to the south and east. Lumber City about to get hit with that heavy downpour, the rain. Glenwood, it's kind of starting to be coming down over you as well. So timing this out really over the next half an hour or so. Scotland at 3:08, Town 3:14. If you live in this area, still definitely want to take shelter. Lumber City at 322. Other areas outside of the severe thunderstorm warning are outside of it at this time, but still this could be continuing eastward. We could get another kind of reactivation of the severe thunderstorm warning once it exits. So definitely still, if you live in this area, just know that a strong storm is still headed your way, to take shelter here as that continues to move eastward. So we will continue to watch the storms for the next little while. Once again, like I said earlier, the cold front that's actually associated with this is still a little bit farther to the north and west. And as that kind of moves down southeast, we could be seeing another quick fire up of some storms. It's pretty unlikely at this point that we see any more rain past this point, but it's not out of the question. It's not a non-zero chance. So we will continue to watch that. But tomorrow is really a much better day. The sunshine is back for Sunday. We're going to keep the breeze, but it's going to be a nicer day tomorrow. Most of our Saturday evening plans will be all good to go as well. We will keep the breeze for tonight, but we will be beginning to dry out here over the next hour or so as this continues to move south and east. Eric, do you think I've missed anything?
No, you're good.
No? Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and end the Facebook Live here. We are watching the storms for the rest of tonight for you. Otherwise, have a great rest of your weekend, everyone. And we will talk to you later.